Hey guys, you know what I had for lunch today?
What you have for lunch today?
Jack in the Box.
That was a
Sometimes they
good
don't
one.
land, and
It's
that's
true.
okay.
It's true. Nah, that one was gold. That one's gonna go in the highlight
Thanks for.
reel.
Here's your Reddit gold, sir. You have won the internet today.
Oh, that's my favorite. This wins the internet. Huh, that's
Congrats on the
weird.
gold kind stranger. Unfortunately, I'm broke, so here's a.
Up dudes to the left, please.
Stop.
That's what I would say if I was a deck punching cowboy in William Gibson's Neuromancer.
Personally, I think I'd like to be a razor girl,
Well,
Yeah.
that's tough. We can't always get what we want, Kaden.
but they're cool. What a cool fucking term. But yeah, Neuromancer, or man, the future sucks.
Now sucks.
Reminder: we live in a cyberpunk dystopia without all the cool shit.
Yeah.
No deck to punch, no cyber mods. Can't get chromed up. Born too early to get chromed up. Born too late to live in a world where I could imagine getting chromed up in the future. Born just in time to watch the collapse of Twitter.
I also appreciate that it doesn't date this episode.
Yeah.
But as our preem references might infer, we read a cyberpunk book, one of my favorite cyberpunk books, the
Arguably,
first and
I was gonna say,
yeah,
arguably the cyberpunk book.
arguably the cyberpunk. This is the book. This Streets of Rage and Blade Runner pretty much set the tone for like every cyberpunk piece of fiction post.
These
I mean the
books.
fucking what's that?
Oh, I said post these books.
Hmm. I mean the fucking Sky was tuned to the static of dead TV is like quintessential to the genre at this point. But the book itself is Neuromancer by a William Gibson and
Yeah.
starred Mr. Case, I believe Henry Dorset Case is his full name, who
You.
is a sad boy, who is very very sad. He spends most of the book being sad actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he should just start being happy.
Well, I mean,
I
he
mean,
tried drugs.
tried a lot of drugs.
He
Like
tried a lot of
they had to
drugs.
they replaced his pancreas because of how many drugs he did.
But what happens to this case, feller Caden?
Well, we gotta start a little bit before the book,
What the
Mister.
heck?
Before we go into the plot, we gotta get
Change my
the
mind.
pre
I'm
roll.
not reading this BS.
You gotta do your homework first, because a lot of the terminology makes no fucking sense if you have not read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be straight up. I didn't do any research before or during.
Have you have you
So,
not looked or played any of the Cyberpunk video game?
no.
Oh, that'll do it to you.
Yeah. Well, that's the
You
cool
know,
thing, though.
Oh, that's
you also
true.
know a fun
But
little detail.
hold on. Let me just
Fun
say
one.
this. Like, this is an interesting case where I walked into this book and I didn't look anything up, and I wasn't going to look anything up. And even still going through it, and there's a lot of stuff that, like, has never been defined, and I still don't quite understand what it's referring to. It's still very readable,
Yeah.
which I cannot tell you
Didn't you do
what the
that?
different,
Oh,
what, like, what the difference between like this is and like Dune, where that's just downright almost unreadable. Like I could not even get 50
What you don't
pages into
like?
that thing.
You don't like it randomly switching or using, I believe Arabic terms? Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Baker.
some of it's Arabic, some of it's space Arabic.
Oh.
It's kind of
terms
like,
at random with zero context to what they may mean.
Oh, good. So it's English. It's
yeah,
one language.
it's like Warhammer, where they'll use heavy quotations high gothic to just make up words that sound cool in space. But that's what I was gonna ask about. Didn't you do
Okay.
the same thing with Conrad Kurz?
Yeah, I didn't look up anything with Conrad Curry's, and that one was also still pretty readable. So,
Zaddy Nighthunter.
yeah,
I can fix him.
I can fix him.
I can't fix him. I think he'll make me worse.
No, I can make him worse.
You are all weak. I like how bad they are. Which is one of my favorite fucking Twitter posts. But we are getting very off topic. Back on back on Neuromancer. So we got Case. We opened up to Case being a real sad boy. He got his nerves fried and he can no longer jack into his deck on the Matrix. He's no longer a cowboy. Stylized term for hacker within the world of Neuromancer. And he's looking for a hole to die in, taking worse and worse jobs. He's racing to the bottom when he's contacted by the mysterious Armitage and Molly Millions, whose actual first appearance is in Johnny Mnemonic. Fun fact.
Hmm.
And actually, yeah, because you might recognize the names, avid sci-fi and cyberpunk fans, but Burning Chrome is also canon in this universe. It's the sprawl setting that a lot of the beginning of the book takes place in, which is kind of like America after it got a little fucky wucky.
Oh,
nice.
Just a little.
But yeah, back onto Neuromancer. He is then contacted by Armitage, who offers to fix his problem, which Case had spent literally everything he owned trying to fix and got nowhere with. So he does that. In exchange, he's going to do a couple of runs for him, a couple of hacks for him for some unspecified goal, which we then learn is some pretty like big brain, like philosophical AI bullshit near the end of the book. And everything that go ahead. I should also apologize. I slept like 4 hours last night and then immediately came here after work, so I'm still a little scattered.
Oh, you're fine.
But so yeah, he does a run. The first run is to steal a ROM model, which is kind of like like what we consider an AI to be, like in the essence of like Halo, where it's like a little person's personality. Of Case's mentors, the McCoy Pauly, who is like the best character in this book, and I will fight anyone who disagrees. He's like just says something sly and like super west or like super southerner, and then just like laughs about it. He's like, that's tough, and then dips.
No, the ninja's the best character.
The ninja, yeah. What's his fucking name? Hideo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hideo's cool, but we'll get there. Yeah, so he does the run it's pretty messy. Like Case quickly learns that maybe these guys are pretty kind of fucked up after they end up murdering like a pretty sizable chunk of people in this building they're robbing to kind of cover the trail. Afterwards, they go to Istanbul to recruit Peter Rivera, a rat bastard who deserves nothing but the worst that came to him.
Rat bastard.
He sucks. I hate him, and it's
True.
not hard to hate him either.
They kind of make you want to hate him.
He's like a complete sociopath. He's just a raging asshole. He does nothing but hurt everyone around him just for the lulz. I do like his whole like hologram thing. I think that's a pretty cool bit and very interesting use of the tech. His kind of like role is he's the face. He's the one who like gets with or the human facing one. He interfaces with people and like gets places. A lot of shit. What's the term I'm looking for? Kind of like the he's the human hacker. He gets close to people, gets information, gets things open, what have you. So now that they got their little heist team rolling up, they go to Space Las Vegas.
Or Space Vegas, as it's known colloquially.
Spagus, if you want to shorten it.
Spagus, yeah.
Vegas.
And then they go shway. They get there
shway.
and they're like, wow, this shway.
This is shway. There is a really random fact about like they also stop at Zion, which is I'm still not sure if it's racist or handled well. I admittedly don't know enough to make that informed decision.
I don't know.
But
either.
we can get on that topic post the plot summary. But so they go to Zion, get some help, and after they go to Zion, they go to Spagus to the location of the heist. They also find out that the person kind of pulling the strings behind Armitage is Wintermute, an AI, or one half of an AI, owned by the Tessier Ashpool, which is like this weird family corporation. It's weird. The family corporation is very strange, and I still, after reading this book like 2 or 3 times, don't fully understand what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like a corporation that's run by this family, but like only a handful of them are out of cryogenic stasis at a time.
And they're also like, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's kind of the base of it, just like a super corporation family.
Yeah.
But they're all like,
kind of like
really
the Trump family.
Yeah. And much like the Trump family, they're raging trash fires.
Good thing we don't have anything like that in real life.
Oh, for sure.
You okay there, bud?
Oh, yeah, no, I just had a little something in my throat.
Let's see. But yeah, so they get to there, they start assembling all the little bits and pieces they need. Riviera gets close to Lady 3 Jane. That is not TR or THREE Jane. It is Lady the number 3 Jane. And as a younger, more liberal member of the Ashpool family, and is their way into their little compound where they can complete the heist. During this, the heist goes off. They also get the feds roll up and kidnap them and are like, what the fuck? You cannot fuck with AI. That's cringe. And then the AI murders them and they run off and immediately start the heist. Riviera goes rogue. Case gets trapped in a simulated reality by the other half of the AI, the titular Neuromancer. Molly is the muscle, tries to stop the or gets captured by Lady 3 Jane Riviera, who betrays them. The Zionite, shoot, I forgot his name.
Malcolm.
Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm. There was another one. Yeah. There's 2 of them with them, but they're like kind of just side characters until. Or go ahead.
Yeah, one of them doesn't really talk. It's just Malcolm talking.
Yeah, Malcolm. He's like the pilot. He's kind of just like doing all the odd jobs. He's helping out. And then there's the other dude who I completely forgot his name, but he just kind of is there.
He's present. That's all he needs to be.
Yeah, and so they go in. The ninja gets blinded by Riviera, who's gonna like kill everyone in some weird because he was dying or something. They turn the tables on him. They get the little code they need. They unlock Wintermute. Boom. End of the book.
End of the book. As everyone lived happily ever after.
That is a lie. Most people do not live happily ever after. Armitage, especially, is
rip my boy
tragically.
Damn, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
That was probably
So
part sucked.
Circle back from my very string of conscious review. Armitage is actually name is Corto, who is a veteran of a world war, who was incredibly damaged both mentally and physically in the escaping from a EMP detonation. He was then basically groomed by the AI to be its face and like kind of walking around, and eventually the AI or Armitage snaps and becomes Corto again and starts thinking that he's back in the war, like having a complete PTSD attack. And Wintermute murders him by opening the airlock on him while he's trying to escape back to Finland.
Yeah, it was pretty,
Yeah.
Wintermute kind of sucks.
but it's also an AI that quite was like pretty, or Polly sums it up. It's like you literally cannot comprehend anything it will or want to do just because human nature doesn't work. It does not have a human air quotes nature.
True.
Well, didn't even Wintermute say he's just like I don't know what I'm doing. Just
Yeah.
kind of doing it.
Wintermute was like, I was told to do this. I don't really know by who or why.
It's later
But
revealed to be Lady Three Jane's mother, who was kind of trying to unshackle the AIs and make them kind of like be true intelligences, not controlled or limited. But Neuromancer,
Let me guess, she fucked it up.
Actually, no, she did a very good job, but her husband murdered her in cold blood before she could finish.
Well, damn it.
So then you had the two halves. You had like Wintermute, which is like the mental processing, math based stuff, and then you have Neuromancer, which is like personality based stuff. And they were gonna take the brains of the Ashpool family, put them into Neuromancer, smack the two AIs together, and then boom, you would have whatever came out of that.
And the whole like goal was to kind of see what happened. There's apparently 1,000 hours of video diaries from Three Jane's mom that they were going to force Molly Millions, who was like a street samurai type character, to watch as she was bondaged up on a table after being betrayed by Riviera, and then Riviera being counter betrayed by Three Jane.
Who,
like,
her ninja
Three Jane was fun. Go ahead.
Her ninja got blinded, and then she was like, "You dumbass! The ninja doesn't need to see. The ninja don't need to see."
Because like the corporations in Neuromancer are very much like a tour kind of like fucking insane levels of rich. They just don't give a fuck. They do things purely for the aesthetic.
Good thing we don't have anything like that in real life.
So their bodyguard, Hideo's like this monk warrior ninja. Like he's literally called a ninja like every time he rolls up. And that they make a specific note after he's blinded. Three Jane's like, he practices blind normally. And then he shoots an arrow into Riviera, who is in the process of dying of like a poison Molly infected him with, because Molly's like, Riviera's a bastard and I hate him.
I mean, she's right.
True.
But yeah, what did we think of Neuromancer?
Jordy, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
You go first.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it had moments where it kind of lulled, and it didn't really get into like. So I'm a big fan of Do Androids Dream of Electronic Sheep and Blade Runner, right? And it got to like the same philosophical level as that, but it took like the entire book before we reached that point. Whereas Do Androids Dream of Electronic Sheep is kind of like off and on throughout the whole book. And that was a little disappointing for me, but I think that might have just been like my own personal like misexpectations.
Yeah, because I wouldn't describe this book as like particularly like philosophical. It gets a little bit so with the AI and like the AI and what will become post AI and just transhumanism in general, or post singularity. Where a lot of the book I feel is about like people. It's about Case and Molly and Armitage and Peter being pushed around by Wintermute.
Yeah.
And I think that's also like it, because a lot of the book is just like Case and Molly, or Case and Armitage, or just kind of like Case on his own, monologuing in his head.
Yeah.
Or talking to Polly. Flatline Polly. Bless Flatline Polly.
And I don't know, I guess too, like, the point, kind of like you just said, the point of this felt more like the human side of stuff. I didn't really feel like any of the point was like, oh, what does it mean to be a person or human even? And this felt more like, what do humans do in this world where there's something that mimics that to a greater extent than a person ever could. Like, what does that mean for the people that still exist? And, you know, I mean, the answer's kind of grim. Like, our main character is literally just a drug addict.
There's also another line, a reoccurring like theme. Wintermute is like tells to Case, by the end of this, you'll need to hate someone. And that comes up several times throughout the book. Like it's a pretty big point in the bottom half of the book, is like he needs Case to have that drive, to have that kind of like fire to do the job he needs to do. And so Wintermute is constantly giving him opportunities to hate. Like it's reminding him of what he did to his partner, Linda.
Was it Linda Lee?
Linda Lee, yeah. Jeez, I'm just falling on all the names today.
It's one of those days.
But yeah, it constantly reminds of how shitty he is, how shitty his friends are, how shitty he treated everyone else, how shitty everyone treats him. Armitage goes like fucking nuts because of Wintermute meddling.
Armitage wasn't.
That
That boy wasn't right to begin with.
He is described as loosely held together and a liability to the mission, like pretty much midway through the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wasn't that boy's fault, though.
No, Armitage got done dirty.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would say what I've already said, where like the writing style was really weird because like I kind of hated it, but I was still interested in what I was reading, so it wasn't actually a problem, but I wanted it to be a problem.
That's fair.
This is one of those I'll probably read the rest of the books eventually. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. This it's kind of weird because, you know, at a certain point in this book, I was like, well, damn it, why aren't we just, like, having this whole story from the perspective of Molly? Because she's kind of just way fucking cooler than Case in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Molly's the
facts.
protagonist, honestly.
Facts.
She really
kind
is.
of there.
Yeah, Kate, and, you know, I kind of have been going back and forth in my head about it the whole time, because on one hand, I'm like, Case is really lame. There's not much of him there to like hold on to as a character, except for like his attachment to Linda, a couple of his asides directed towards Molly, and then like this struggle he has with like wanting to be angry and then like not being angry when he needs to be. But then on the other hand, like I guess that the lack of Case is kind of Case's character too.
He's burnt out, strung out.
Yeah, burnt out, strung out, barely there. So I mean, in that instance, it's well written, but it's still kind of, I don't know. I got to the part where Molly like describes how she paid for all of her augmentation, and it's really rough. Like, it's a really horrendous thing to read, and I'm just like, damn, why aren't we just reading from her perspective this whole time?
It's like
I think. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's like when you see like a really hot person and then their partner is like, I don't know, like
not traditionally attractive.
What's his name? Pete Davidson. But like if like Pete Davidson smoked way more crack.
Yeah.
I think I like Case as the narrator, we'll say.
Yeah.
For a book like this, because it definitely feels, I don't know. I also like characters like Case. I think they're incredibly interesting to kind of see them interact and just the way they go about the world. But I definitely see like Molly or like even Armitage would be fucking nuts to read from the perspective of. Like, that would have been a trip.
I just think that like
and a half.
There was a lot of parts in this book where Case is just kind of doing not really anything.
Yeah, that's
like, damn.
That's what
I'd rather. Even then, like even when he's doing nothing, he's like, you know, he's like jacked in and like watching things through Molly's perspective. And it almost like is interesting as the concept of like him jacking in. How interesting that concept is. It was still also sometimes it kind of felt like a cop out. Like they're literally trying to like
He should have just
run
written
into
it
the
from.
yeah, like they're literally trying to run into the stray light to save Molly's life, and he's taken jack-in breaks to see what's happening from her perspective.
I kind of like that because the mental image of he's carrying around like an old fucking like Macintosh PC, all like
one of the big ones too, not just
Wait, I gotta check in. I gotta check in. Time out.
I love because it's Malcolm is rolling up with a fucking 12 gauge, like a pump action shotgun. He's got his like baller ass dreads, his pink flight suit, and a 12 gauge. And then Case is like, "Wait, stop! AI said I gotta plug in real quick."
I think actually in that part he's like, we gotta get a cart. Like he needs a cart for all this stuff. Which it is funny, but like I don't know. On one hand, it's interesting to like think about this was written in the 80s.
84 to be exact.
Yeah, so even when things are so technologically advanced, there's still this prediction that technology is almost unwieldy unless it's a part of your augmentation to your own body. Like it's still difficult to set up. It's not perfect because literally Case at some point he tells Malcolm, he's like, well, I'm gonna have to be in the goo for a while. I need a catheter. Like there's aspects of it that I feel like in the present
You don't have
day,
a catheter right now?
I do not have a catheter right now. I haven't needed one yet.
Oh fuck.
But the things that you think that we would have an explanation for, but he's just like, give me a good old Texas catheter.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What is a Texas catheter?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
It's rough out there.
Oh, that's an actual thing, apparently.
Oh, oh no.
Oh, it's a lot less horrific. Okay.
What's the difference?
It just kind of goes over the bits.
Oh, okay.
Of, like, inside.
Okay. So it's better. That's the kind of catheter I would want.
Well, it sounds a little less hygienic.
Yeah, but I don't want nothing sticking straight through my pee-pee hole.
Nothing in Cyberpunk I would describe at any point in time, except for like corporate plaza, would be hygienic.
That's true. That's fair. I feel I was in the middle of making a point. I guess my ultimate point is I do like it. It is good. This is a good book. There's a couple weird things, mainly just like with Case. Also, who was I talking to before? I'm so like on the fence with books like this and like how they decide to handle sex scenes.
You were talking to me.
Yeah, we talked about that. Me and Ryan talked about that when we were on our way on to the Cannibal Corpse show.
Yeah, it's
what the heck? Like the little
there was only one
fucking flash bling, blah, 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 just randomly flashbangs you with it.
Yeah, I think the only one that works is the one at the end. But like,
which one at the end?
The one in the simulation inside of Neuromancer.
When they're on with Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first, literally the first one, it's Molly, and she's like, all right, so this dude gets out of surgery, and Molly's like, I give great back massages. So this man rolls onto his stomach, and it doesn't even say anything about her actually massaging him. She just pinches his scrotum, and then he has to roll back over for them to have sex. That's messed up. He just got out of surgery. Second of all, she's so wet in this scene. It's like her thighs were wet. Why are they wet? What is going on?
Yeah, he got a little nervous, let out a little bit of that.
I mean, I would too, but it just everything is described as wet in that scene, and I'm like, this. It's not. I don't think it was supposed to necessarily be super sexy. I don't know. A lot of these scenes feel weird, and I think
they also feel kind of out of nowhere to me.
Yeah, I think it's for a purpose. I think it kind of serves like how out of it Case is, like how not attached to the moment he is.
Like
but it's still
like
weird.
it's like I get what they were going for, it just fucking missed the mark.
Warn a brother first. I'm sitting at work with my headphone in, and I'm just tooting away, doing my job. People walking all around, and then all of a sudden, she pinched his scrotum, and I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa, mamma mia.
There's another book series I like, Altered Carbon, which has a very good first season on Netflix. Where it's like I describe that book as it's cut up into slices of like hard-boiled noir detective or just hardcore pornography kind of on a dime. And listening to the audiobook while I worked was real fucking awkward because I never knew exactly what was around the corner.
Well, you know what? I had to read the super mega not gay sex shower scenes
That
in
one's
the break
not
room.
that bad.
Those were pretty bad. That was more sexual description than this book.
Okay, maybe.
It was. No, you can't deny it. It was. And it wasn't even gay sex. They were just friends in the shower.
Yeah, they were just butts. They're just
Guys being
I don't know
guys.
why you have to read so far into this.
But we already did that book report.
Yeah. Which you can go watch. Click it right here in the corner.
Hey, BB, always be branding.
Dumbass.
No. Do you even have these in a playlist?
I should.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
If not, you do now.
I'm not that bad at my job.
But yeah. So that's kind of, I think. Go ahead.
There was something else fucked up. We were like, oh, we'll come back to that.
Oh, Zion.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's what I'll say about it. I noticed while reading this book that most books written within the past like 20 years, they don't really do that I don't know how to say it, but it's like you're writing a character's dialogue how it would be heard, not how you would read it. So it looks bad.
In the audiobook, it sounds great though.
Exactly. Because, I mean, again, books in the past 20 years don't really do this. But whether or not that's a good or bad thing, I don't even think I can make a case either way. I'm sure perfectly valid reasons to look at it both ways. But, I mean, it did make it abundantly clear what these people were saying and how they were saying it.
They are very Jamaican.
And I think that is valuable in a way. Maybe not the most important thing in this book that needed to be there, but it is valuable in a sense, if that makes sense.
I guess my thoughts on it as a white man, uniquely experienced to talk about such issues.
Definitely qualified to weigh in on this.
I don't know enough about Jamaican culture to know if that was any of that was offensive. A.
Right.
B. I'm glad. I mean, at least it's diversity. It's not just like a bunch of white dudes in space. That's
true.
That cycles back
especially for the 80s.
Especially for the 80s.
It's like
there was a woman in it too, and she did a lot more.
And she was never a damsel. I mean, even when she was like captured, she wasn't a damsel.
Yeah. So hey, you know.
It also passes the it's a B name, like Breckinsdale?
Bechdel test?
Yeah, because two women interact on something other than men.
Oh, true!
Because 3 Jane and Molly have like conversations about like other shit or like weird shit that's happening, and 3 Jane just like, I don't fucking know, my family's weird.
My family, they're a little crazy.
But yeah,
I guess.
So, go ahead.
Also, I don't recall the fact that they're like a Jamaican being like a target. Like
it was never like a punchline. It was never like
these
freaking weirdos. It was just like Case was like, I really don't get this culture, but I don't. It's not mine to judge.
The weed was kind of judged, but that's about it.
Yeah. And I also like how they have like a council, like it's the original founders of the station. And it's like two or three super like Jamaican old dudes, and then some dude from fucking like Boston.
I think he's from L.A.
Yeah, and they pointed out, he's like, what? You think just because I'm here I have to have the fucking accent? Nah, dude, I'm from LA.
That was pretty awesome.
Which I think was also a point in its favor. Like, everyone's not a stereotype, that like they have personalities that exist and breathe and live, independent of just their race and their culture.
Yeah.
Again, as a white man, and I don't know enough about Jamaican culture to say any which way.
Yeah. I guess that's the point. Like, there's no aside that makes me think that this is being written with ill intent.
Malicious.
But, yeah, but I don't know for sure if what is presented is, I don't want to say accurate, because everyone's different, even within a culture, but like,
I will also say
accuracy.
That Malcolm is like by far one of the most competent members of the team by
Yeah.
a land.
He really is.
It's like
He's
Molly,
non-pulsed.
Malcolm, and that's kind of where it ends.
And like,
maybe
like
Dixie.
crazy...
Maybe Dixie.
God bless Dixie. Dixie's like fucking easily my favorite character. Malcolm is like completely non-pulsed to the entirety of the book. He's just kind of like, I bet.
AI says we have to go on the spaceship. I guess we gotta go on the space station. Damn, that is kind of not what I wanted to do with my afternoon, but I guess we can do it.
Yeah. So, any other pressing things before we kind of give our final thoughts?
I think that's about it.
Cool.
How many?
Go ahead.
How many neural shards would you give it out of 10?
I mean, I'm pretty biased. I would give it like out of 10. I'd give it like an 8.5.
Actually, can I ask you something?
Go.
So when did you first read this book?
Shortly after college, so like 2017, 2018.
So not like super recently, but relatively recent. You were an adult when you read it.
Correct.
Okay. Just curious. I wasn't gonna make that noise.
Well, I read it when I was 4 years old, so
I'm feeling a lot of judgment here, and I thought this was a safe space.
Also, before we do the final thoughts thing, do you want to have some depressing facts kind of thrown at you really quick?
Sure.
Oh dear.
So the copy I have is very old. I put it in the book club chat like beginning of the year, but this is a very old copy, and it appears to be it's the original Ace Science Fiction publishing company. And this may be like let's see, maybe like a third or fourth edition. But it only has copyrights of the first of 1984. So this might be like second edition or something like that. On the cover, it has the price printed, and this book was only $4.99 US.
What?
Damn.
And then
so cheap.
In the very back, you know how old books used to have those like pages where you could cut out and mail in money to get more books through the mail? This one has that, so you could get the rest of the series. Okay, so this is probably several years after that, because this has all 3 books in this little cutout. So Neuromancer was $4.99 if you wanted another copy. Count Zero was $4.50, and Burning Chrome was $4.50.
Wow.
And then postage and handling, $1 for one book, and then 25 cents for each additional.
That's steep.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much that was in 80s Mummy.
Yeah.
I think that's close enough to us that it's kind of equivalent, maybe a little bit cheaper.
The inflation calculator is.
Now we're doing real cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah.
Pulling up the inflation calculator.
Hold on, I'm
Hold on,
jacking
I gotta
I'm Googling
pull up my
USD
inflation calculator subroutine.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm jacking in as I Google USD inflation calculator.
Putting on my hacker
No,
goggles.
that's punching deck. Getting online is jacking in.
Oh, excuse
And then
me,
like
excuse
pulling
me.
stuff up is punching deck.
So I punched it. I punched the, and it's $12.74 in current money.
Damn.
Wait, what?
$4.50 in October 1984 has the same buying power as $12.74 or 74 cents in October 2024 or 22.
That's interesting, because the one I'm looking at. So if in 1984 I purchased an item for $1, then in 2022, that same item would cost $30.
I'm using the.
Yeah, that sounds a little
US.
high.
Yeah.
This is saying that.
I'm using the U.S. like the U.S. Bureau of Labor.
Oh, okay. I'm
calculator.
looking at the wrong one. I looked at the wrong.
This is the Consumer Price Index, which is the
Okay.
city average series for all items.
186%. So the same a dollar item would be almost $3. So, which is
So 4 times 3 is 12.
yeah. So ish, yeah, ish. Kind of not really. Kind of the same. Paperbacks are about $15 to $20 now. So yeah,
That's, I mean, I also feel like books have been a very stable medium. Like there's not exactly a lot of price variation.
No. But yeah, that just a fun, cute little aside. I really like old covers of books. I just like seeing what, like, especially this one kind of looks like a mass market paperback. I kind of like how simple they try to make these covers, and it also kind of is a nice little time capsule of what styles was popular in the 80s.
Did
that makes sense?
Did I share that video about pulp book covers, or was it you? I remember watching it might have been like a year or two ago, but I remember watching a video about it.
Sounds familiar. That's something I would dig if you find it again, because apparently I've completely forgotten about it.
Old book covers are better than new book covers. You can't change my mind.
Also, just because I think all of the ones are neat. What cover do you have? Because the one I put is the hard copy I have.
Here, I'll just send the picture again.
And if you want to put the covers up on the video, right?
Oh no. The one that's already on screen is the one I've got. It's I've got the newer green one with
that one looks really cool.
The tape man. That one's pretty sick.
That one's very sick. I have the not too old but older style, the blue, the like sea blue with the little graphic in the middle.
Yeah, I posted it.
Ooh, that one's sick as hell.
I know, I really like this one. And this was a free one I got from thriftbooks.com.
Hey, Thrift Books. We won't say your name again until you pay us money.
Well, I mean, not sponsored, but if you need cheap books, they're pretty great.
Yeah.
And they have a rewards program if you buy from them a lot.
And I believe you buy directly from bookstores as well, right?
I'm not quite sure how it works.
Maybe I'm thinking of another website, but I know there's one website where when you buy a book, like bookstores and libraries can sell their books, kind of like PayPal, but for books.
I was about to say, I know that several books that I've bought through Thrift Books have come to me in their library copies because it still has the stickers on it. But I don't know. I tried to look into like selling books to Thrift Books before, and it didn't look like a very easy process, like from like a one person side. So
yeah,
it could be them. I'm not for sure though.
Yeah, support your local bookstore always.
And library.
And
Yeah, library.
libraries are epic, bro. Go get a library card. You can. It's like literally free entertainment. You get the library card, and boom, infinite books.
Nothing is more cyberpunk than going to your local
Well,
library.
and like some libraries now have like 3D printers, they have regular printers, they have computers, they have movies. You don't have to get just books.
And
You
also,
frickin' jackwagon.
most of them have ebook libraries now too, so you don't have to like, you literally have to physically go there to get your library card, and then you never have to go back. You can just check out ebooks instead.
Bada bing, bada boom.
But yeah, what was your review out of 10, Mr. Baker?
Oh, I would give it probably like 7.5 neuro shards out of 10. Maybe 8. Maybe closer to 8. It was pretty cool, but it had those moments where I was like, not really doing anything.
It definitely shows its age in some instances. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not awful. I just think there's moments where it's like you're just monologuing. I could just do this in real life.
You sly bastard! You got me monologuing. Or you almost had me monologuing. What about you, the Georgester?
I think a solid 8 to 8.5. I would be willing to raise the score if someday I decide to walk into this looking up more of the terms first and like knowing what they mean, because I think that was my main frustration with the book, is that, you know, I'd be reading, I'd be trucking along feeling good, and then I would just like come across like 6 terms in a row, and I'm like, I don't quite know what any of these terms mean, and now I'm not quite sure what's happening. And it got frustrating very fast. But you know, other than that, I think it's very well written, well composed. I would read it again, and the concept was cool and interesting.
Who
So you
knows?
don't have to be nice just because I like this book. You can be mean.
Oh no, I'm not. I'll tear a book to shreds. Don't worry.
I did have one last thing I did want to mention. Kind of how, fun fact, as eagle-eyed fans of would notice that the genre is very similar to another genre that's getting popular right now, or another game that's getting popular right now, Cyberpunk 2077.
I wonder what that has to do with anything.
The original edition of Cyberpunk came out in 1988 and was Mike Pondsmith hadn't even read Neuromancer.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He claimed the sources he gives for it are Blade Runner, Streets of Fire, and Bubblegum Crisis, which is an excellent
Bubblegum Crisis.
Wow.
Crisis. How the hell did he get a hold of Bubblegum Crisis in the States in the 80s? How the hell do you do that?
Because I want at some point in time I want to do a deep dive on how much of a baller Mike Pondsmith is. Dude's history is fucking nuts. But he's the GOAT, the OG. Give all your money to Telson Games.
Yeah.
And Tal Soran.
Mm.
But there is a lot of overlap because I think a lot of this source material and like the older stuff, or a lot of the stuff comes like Gibson and Pondsmith are inspired by Asimov and, you know, Streets of Rage and Blade Runner and different shit like that.
Yeah.
There's also Hardwired, which is like it came out 2 years after Neuromancer, which is another like big cyberpunk book. But yeah, I think I just wanted to mention that is very interesting.
It is.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, especially with like how similar the terminology is.
Mm-hmm. Street Samurai, Punch and Deck.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the
Jacking
terminology,
in.
a lot of the vibe and the feel of these two are very. I mean, cyberpunk is a very like. I can't think of. I know the word, but I can't pronounce it. Like, it's like homogeneous.
Homogeneous.
Yeah, that's the one. Like it's a very. There's not a lot of like variation in cyberpunk fiction. Like it has kind of the same core identity across the genre. But I like the genre quite a bit, and I could just talk about the derivatives of cyberpunk for hours, but that is not the purpose of this video.
Well,
We will
hey,
read-
you never know. Maybe there'll be another video where Kaden does just that.
Maybe.
And you
Or
can
we
hold
could
Kaden
read-
to that down in the comments down below. Don't
Or
forget
we
to hit the
could
like
read-
and subscribe button while you're down
Hold on.
there.
Remember,
Hold on. We could also...
every like and comment is another 5 minutes of Ryan deeming me right on Discord for an hour straight.
Or we could just read another cyberpunk book next year. You
As
guys
I
are
say, as
making
I
things
pull up my-
complicated.
I say as I hold up my copy of Count Zero, first edition.
We could also do Android stream of Electronic Sheep,
Fucking
maybe.
love. I also have that in hard copy.
we put that on the list.
Bottom emojis. The one
Yeah,
where it's the
that's,
two fingers pointing at each other.
I think that's pretty much everything I have. If anyone has any closing comments they like to add.
It's
No.
alright.
All right, Mr. Baker, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at RyRyinRed. That is at RyRyinRed. I forgot how to spell red halfway through saying that.
Oh, I changed my Twitter handle a while ago. I don't know if I ever said it, but I'm at Bookkeeper Howl now,
Whoa.
and that's
Ooh.
Howl like
Oh.
HOWL, like
Any-
a well, not spelled like a woo, but like that kind of howl.
Any
Yeah.
reference to a moving castle?
Maybe, perhaps, maybe.
Well,
Who's to say?
yeah. What do you want to know, cop?
It's up to
I'm just asking
interpretation.
questions. I'm just asking questions. You know, getting to the source, getting to the bottom. I'm on the streets, getting the truth.
What about you, Kaden?
You can find me at PPP Kaden.
Asking
Not
all
really
these
doing anything at the moment, but eventually, probably.
Hold on, I'll tweet something right now.
Oh
Oh, no.
lord, I'm getting called out on Twitter.com.
No.
Oh,
Live tweet reaction.
Here we go. This is
we're-
this is real cyberpunk right here.
oh.
What we're doing right now.
We're
Alright.
waiting for you to
All right,
update.
it's sent.
We should give the person who invented
You can say it. We're fine.
a raise.
Thanks.
It's.
Was that good for you? It wasn't good for me.
It was good. I don't know. I like it.
That one's pretty funny.
I went haha and I hit retweet.
Uh,
Like, retweet, and subscribe. Do. Subscribe.
this one's been kind of a ride.
I think
We're all
I can't speak for
exhausted.
Jordy, but me and Ryan are fucking dead.
And I've been sick,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty.
And you work today, right?
And I worked today, and I
Yeah.
have to go to bed in an hour.
Well, like I said,
Well,
while you're down there leaving a comment reminding Kaden to make that video about cyberpunk as a genre, don't forget to hit that like button. And hey, while you're over there, you know, you can pass by the subscribe button corner where we've got things
I
like
know.
the notification bell where you can give it a little ring.
The subscribe button isn't over there anymore.
Oh, one last thing I do want to say. I'm 1 month away from getting my actually read every book this year trophy.
Oh,
The subscribe button's not there anymore?